And we are live. Okay, let's see. Let's readjust this a little bit. Good morning. It is 9:32 in the morning on June 2nd, 2022. I turned 50 years old today. I don't feel any older than I was yesterday. Feel a little bit shitty because I had McDonald's yesterday. That was a weakness. I probably shouldn't have had it, but damn, those fries just taste so good. Let's see. I'm getting okay. So here we go. I've been getting birthday texts and messages all day. So we'll see who sends them. So as my tea kind of seeps here, I did my push-ups this morning. Well, thank you, Thomas, but I am not one of those that hides from my age like my wife. I am 50 and I'm happy to be 50. I'm proud to be 50. And for those of you who don't know, growing up, I don't remember liking my birthday, especially when I got into my teens. I may have liked my birthday when I was younger, but as I started getting older, I really did not like my birthday. I did throw myself a 21st birthday party because every 21-year-old is supposed to be, they're also supposed to enjoying my birthday. And then I turned 50. So, and from my 30th birthday on, I really started to embrace getting older. My wife, on the other hand, she is perpetually 25, which makes it kind of awkward because her eldest is 30 and our eldest together is 25 and has a 1-year-old himself. So at some point, you have to kind of fess up to the age. Don't know how I'm coming through, but I really do need to plug this into a dedicated plug. Anyway, so that all being said, I share my birthday with a couple people. Now I remember this. Now this is freaky. So when I was in elementary school, so I went to an elementary school, and then up until 4th grade, and then 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I went to private school. So I don't know if you'd call that an elementary school. So I never went like now they have elementary, which goes up to 5th, and then they have middle school, and then they have high school. Now that kind of existed back in the day, but even the elementary school that I went to still went to 8th grade, and then you went to high school. So middle school was something, there weren't as many as there are now that I'm aware of. So anyway, I met, I don't remember if it was 5th grade or 6th grade year, but there was a kid in my class, and we only had like a class of maybe like 28 or 30 people total in the entire 5th or 6th grade class. Anyway, his name was Mike Seaton, and he was born on June 2nd. His birthday was June 2nd as well. So I always thought that was cool that we, that I shared my birthday with other people. I don't know why I thought that was weird. I just thought that was weird. Oh, okay. So I did a 30th watch Free Enterprise with some friends and a 40th. I didn't really do a 21st. My wife is perpetually 21, and I always love the odd looks when we go out with my 13-year-old and she claims she's 21. Yeah, so that's pretty funny. So Free Enterprise, for anybody who has not watched that movie, and in fact, that might just become, I might throw that into the year of Trek as well. But it's it's a comedy that basically is two Star Trek nerds, and one of them is turning 30, and of course it's all sorts of science fiction references, especially the 30 and Logan's Run. So yeah. So there's all that. Now, when it comes to Star Trek, the yeah, Logan's Run, I don't, of all the remakes, I've heard that, was it Joel Silver long ago, this was years ago, he wanted to do a remake of Logan's Run. And I know the original was kind of hokey, but it's such still a classic science fiction movie. I have mixed feelings about doing a remake on that. I really do. So, oh, okay. Yeah. So if people don't know Logan's Run, it isn't some stupid sports movie. Rollerball is a sports movie. All right. So again, that's from Free Enterprise. So, anyway, so I've always, and of course, I know my brain's kind of popping all around. Being a Star Trek fan, I was always like, do I share my birthday with any Star Trek people? And I do actually. Now, let's see, going back. All right. So Rob, happy 50th. Thank you, sir. And then of course, Bill, there you go. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, sir. I got your text. I did kind of get on Facebook a little bit this morning and saw some of the people commenting. I have not had a chance to actually delve into that because I did my push-ups. It's funny, and I know I'm bouncing around on this. I got to 53 today. So on my 50th birthday, I got to 53 push-ups, which is actually pretty good for me. In fact, if I could have pushed out just one more, I could have doubled what I started a couple weeks ago, or when I first started, 27. But that would have been cool. But I couldn't get out that 54. In fact, I didn't even think about it. I could have had that in my mind. But here's the thing is I did it the other day. I did push-ups the other day just to see how many I could do. And I did 57. So maybe it's just because this is in the morning and I'm still tight, even though I did kind of loosen up a little bit. But I don't know. I might try later on in the day to see how many I can do. But for as long as I've been doing this, being able to do 53 is amazing to me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, sir. So birthday, sharing birthdays. So Star Trek people, I share my birthday with two Star Trek people. And I always kind of wished I had shared it with an original character or an original actor, but I actually, in a way, I kind of do if we go original series, but new actor, because Zachary Quinto, he celebrates his birthday today. He's actually 45, according to my records. Born in 1977. So Zachary Quinto, the new Spock, who does a great job. His birthday is today. And then Anthony Montgomery from Enterprise. He's 51. So he's actually a year older than I am. But he played Merriweather on Enterprise. So I do have some Star Trek connection when it comes to my birthday. But you know what the really cool thing is? And I didn't realize this until a couple of years ago, but I share my birthday with one of the greatest entertainers of our generation. He won, he won, he won The Masked Singer. And it was so funny because everybody like I was rooting for his character. Of course, I didn't know who he was. Everybody thought that he was Jamie Foxx. But of course, it wasn't Jamie Foxx. Wayne Brady. I share my birthday with Wayne Brady. And not only do I share my birthday with Wayne Brady, but we were born in the same year. The same year. So Wayne Brady is 50 years old today as well. So when I found that out, and I don't know why, I don't know how I found that. Maybe I was just randomly searching, but I was like, dude, Wayne Brady. I share my birthday with Wayne Brady. So usually on my birthday, I will share one of the funniest skits he's ever done. Not really appropriate, but it's from the Chappelle Show when he takes Chappelle and he starts collecting money from he plays a pimp and he's collecting money from his hookers. Oh my God. Because that is so out of character for what we see him as. Because he's, whose line it is anyway, and all the other different stuff he does. And he's going around going, beating up hookers and collecting money from them with Chappelle. And it was like, I don't know, for some reason, maybe it's just my twisted sense of humor, but I don't know. To me, it's just so funny. So I will be sharing that on my Facebook today at some point. I haven't even had any of my tea yet, and I've already been chatting for 14 minutes. So yeah. So Wayne Brady, happy birthday. I found his Instagram. Not that I was like stalking him or anything, but see if I'll shout him out on Instagram and see if he responds. There you go. That's the big thing. Getting those big celebrities to respond to you. Oh, I didn't mean to keep that up there. Yeah. So, Wayne Brady. Okay. So does he live in Orlando? I don't know. And yes, he was the Fox. He was the Fox on Masked Singer. Okay. That's really good. Let's see. Yeah. So, 53 push-ups. I am going to try later on today. Oh, and I'm getting the greatest birthday present. So I took over my spot for the school in November. It took 2 months to build out. We opened January 1st. And had some leaks because I'm the corner spot, and there were some leaks that were in the cracks. It was coming down on the side. And I love Kenny. He was there, I don't know, and he looked up and he goes, "Oh, you have coffee stains on your ceiling too." Because I have like 40 tiles that need to be replaced. And so the landlord had the roof fixed, the entire building, brand new roof, no more leaks. And so she came to inspect when they were finally done, and she's like, what was it? She said, shoot. She said that they would. So I asked her about the ceiling tiles originally when we were looking at the place, and she said that once the roof gets fixed, they replace the ceiling tiles. Sorry, brain fog there. I'm getting older. I'm 50. So anyway, that was back in, like, I think they ended up fixing it fully in January. So it is now June. So let's full month February, full month March, April, May. So 4 months I was promised ceiling tiles. And I reached out to her. I was like, "Look, you were promised me ceiling tiles. Where are they? I'd really like them." And even that, let's just take off 1 month. Let's just go 3 months. Okay. So reach out to her. I was like, "Look, I don't know what the status on the ceiling tiles are. Is it a supply chain issue, or did you forget? Because I need 40 of them, and should I just go out and buy them myself and then you reimburse me?" Which I was totally prepared to do. So guess what? The guy's stopping by today with my ceiling tiles. Very excited. So for my seminar, I will have new ceiling tiles. I'm super excited about that. Super excited about that. So and I painted. So I got paint for my letters. I painted them. I finished up with them last night. They the black paint was, I think, too thick, because even sanding down the paint, and then using a better brush, I still have lines in it. But I don't know, maybe paint lines could look artistic. I don't know. They turned out nice, but like my OCD and what I pictured as nice, it's not perfect. But I really want to get this stuff up on the walls by, for the seminar on Saturday, because they were supposed to be done in April, but for some reason I put them off. So it is what it is. Now, of course, we're going to talk sci-fi on Friday. But Obi-Wan was yesterday. The Orville New Horizons popped last night. Actually, it popped today. Strange New Worlds comes out today. Actually, it's episode 5, not 6. And then we've got all the other stuff. So, yes, we have a lot to talk about, because I did knock out some Voyager last night. But I also watched New Horizons, and they only dropped 1 episode. So I thought it was 2. And then I noticed on the second one, it said, on the next one, it said, coming soon. So a month or a week away on the 9th. Before I say anything about, I did watch Kenobi Part 3. That was good. I've not watched Strange New Worlds yet. Probably watch that today. But I did watch. I'm not going to say anything about the Orville. I don't want to discourage anybody or encourage anybody to watch it. So make up your own minds. Let's see. I was kind of discouraged that there weren't 2 episodes. Disney Plus has and other, like, even like dropping 2 episodes at a time. That's just not fair. I don't know. Makes everybody else look bad. Oh, you got rid of Hulu? I would like to get rid of some of my streaming channels. We'll have an official offline chat about it. Yes. Yeah. Well, yes. You and I will talk. We'll talk publicly about it on Friday. So I would like to get rid of some streaming channels because, I guess the joke now is it's cheaper to have cable than it is to have all these streaming channels, because we dropped cable to save money and now there are tons of streaming channels. So I get HBO for free, or HBO Max for free, because I'm in AT&T. I have my cell phone through AT&T. But I pay for Disney Plus, not for any of the Disney stuff, but for the new Star Wars stuff. That's the only reason I pay for it. But it's still like $7 a month. So it's really not all that bad. Netflix, I don't watch a lot of Netflix. I really only watch Netflix for the new show, like comedy. Like Chappelle and Ricky Gervais, or however you pronounce his name. What's his name? Has that really famous podcast? People think he's nuts. Joe Rogan. Like, pretty much all the Netflix, like all the comedians that people want to cancel nowadays. That's why I still have Netflix, because I like watching their stuff. But here's the thing, is that I don't watch Netflix a lot. Like, yeah, I just don't. But my daughter does. And Netflix, even on its lower end, like I pay for the bottom stack, like 2 devices at a time. Not even 4K, but then again, I don't have any 4K TVs. Well, I do. That's wrong. I have a 4K television downstairs, but the main TV isn't a 4K TV. So I have these, I pay for it, but I don't really use it. But my daughter watches it a lot, and I don't know why, because she usually watches a lot of fucking YouTube. But it is the most expensive. Like Hulu is the next expensive. But Netflix is the most. But really, it was a chore to get rid of cable originally for my wife. Yeah. So, and then Paramount Plus, I actually get a deal. So through Apple Plus, because I have Apple TV, and I get that through this huge package. So if I buy all of the products that we actually all use, like extra data, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff, I get Apple TV as part of that. But then I also get a deal on, what is it? Paramount Plus and Showtime Plus. They are, they come in a package. So basically for the cost of one, I get 2. So yeah. So I'm not like hemorrhaging when it comes to streaming services like some people, but I still would like to get rid of some because we don't watch, like, we watch Paramount Plus and Disney Plus more than anything else. Truly. Well, see, Bill, the thing is you're a huge football fan. And if I was a huge football fan, I probably would also have that as well. But I know we're friends, so you'll still love me after I say this. I don't care about football. But you knew that. So it is what it is. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. But see, I don't, for those people who love football, you can love football. I don't care. Actually, I'm not a sports guy in the first place. I became a volleyball guy. Did you know that volleyball is actually a sport? Like, you can actually watch volleyball as a sport and not for the spandex. Isn't that amazing? Like, as a dude, I never would have figured that out. But yeah. So it is what it is. Now, here's some thoughts going through my head. I'm 50. Okay. I was doing some reminiscing in the car today while I was stuck in traffic coming back from dropping off my daughter at school. And and I've actually, in my 50 years, I've actually accomplished quite a bit. Because I think of, you think about those people who are just like, oh, well, oh, I've only done this, or I've only done that. I've done a lot of things. So I've been generally working since I was 13. And that was basically because I went to a private school and my mom was like, we have to buy our own books. So guess what you need to do? You need to earn money to buy your books, because we had to buy our own textbooks. So I worked during the summer, I worked in people's yards and mowed lawns and did all that kind of stuff. Oh, wait. The NFL Sunday ticket is now going to be on a stream channel, so I have to wait to find out what I have to get. Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out. So, and so I think when I look at my first official job, which is basically getting a paycheck from somebody else where taxes were taken out, I think, let's see, I worked for my first job, I was a sophomore or a junior in high school. I think it was the summer between my sophomore year and my junior year. I got a job as a dishwasher at Captain Billy Bang's. And this was a pub over in, I want to say St. John's, but it's not in St. John's. But it's, it was, my aunt was the manager. So I don't know if she was the restaurant manager or if she was the bar manager, but my aunt worked there. And I remember her calling and she says, "Do you want a job?" And I was like, yeah. And so she's like, we need a what is it? We need a dishwasher. And I was thinking like I'm thinking the dishwasher at the house, like how long does it cycle for, because the dishwasher at the house takes like 30 minutes. So like, what am I going to be doing in between these cycles? Little did I know that a dishwasher at a restaurant, it uses like 5,000 degree temperature water and like soap that works like acid, and it can wash a rack of dishes in like a minute and a half. So that was a big wake up. Yeah, I think I made the same amount. It was like, it was, yeah, dude, that was minimum wage. That was minimum wage in Oregon back in whenever. Like, yeah, dude, yeah. So, and then I did that for a little bit. And then I think when I was a junior, I ended up becoming a host at the same bar. And I used the restaurant part, but then, and then the owners opened up a second location. So that must have been, I was a sophomore, because my junior to senior, I remember the summer going into my junior year. I started working at, because it was closer. I started working at this place. It was called Morgan's Grill, and it was located in downtown Portland in this place called Morgan's Alley. It was this restaurant. And so I was primarily a dishwasher, but then, let's see. And then but they started training me on prep chefing. So, and then, so really my first job, I was a dishwasher. Let's see. Rob, my first job was a mechanic's bitch. I mean, this isn't okay. Boat mechanic shop, cleaning up, oil changes. Right on. Yeah. So I really I did spend, let's see. So Captain Billy Bangs, so I moved him. And actually, so one thing about Captain Billy Bangs is that, and I can't remember when he was mayor, but famous mayor from Portland, Bud Clark, that was his bar. He didn't I think he might have been a partial owner, but literally he was Norm. So I actually got to meet him a couple times because he was a regular. So I thought that was kind of cool. So not sure if he actually was an owner or not, but I thought that was Bud Clark, famous mayor of Portland. So, but then, and I spent my time in restaurants for a while. I actually worked for 3.5 years at Vista Spring Cafe, which is a restaurant right down the street from where I lived. And then, and I did work in between. I did do a summer job at, what was it? It was Great Western Chemical Company. It was the people across the street from my grandmother, the McCalls. They own McCall Oil, and they also had, as a secondary company, side company, they had this called Great Western Chemical. So I was a warehouseman. That's basically a warehouse bitch. So I did painting and cleaning, and but they taught me, that's where I learned how to drive a forklift, and I was doing a bunch of stuff I shouldn't have been able to do. But yeah, it was a great summer. And then I worked for Vista Spring for a few years. I got that job February of my senior year, and I worked there for like 3.5 years. And then I actually became a machinist, and I worked there for, I don't know how long. So I worked in restaurants. At Vista Spring, I never was a manager, but like I was a prep chef. I was like, I did a bunch of stuff for them. Ted and Gary, the owners, fabulous people. Ben, the manager. I don't know if they're still around or dead. I think that they sold off Vista Spring, but they had opened up places over in Seaside. So I would actually go to Seaside and help train. Like it was really cool. It was really, really cool. But then I was a machinist. I worked for Portland Precision, not Precision Cast Parts, but Portland Precision. I worked there for, I don't know how many years. And then I think it was 7 years in total because I left and then came back. So I was a machinist. I was primarily a CNC. I started in the Burr area, but then I moved on to running CNC machines, and I was starting to get trained on programming, and then and also some minor manual stuff. So I never did make it to journeyman, but I was on my way. But it was one of those where it just at one point it just wasn't fun. And I've always had my sights on doing my own thing. And so I actually moved from being a machinist to running my own computer company. So I did web design. I built computers. I put together networks. And I did that for actually a couple of years until I got to the point where I went into business with my best friend at the time. And of course, he wasn't really a lot of help. So it was really me. And we got to the point where I couldn't do it on my own. He was just part of the company because he wanted to be part of the company. And he did have some skills, but nothing that would allow us to grow. And he was not willing to grow with me. And so it really came to this point where it was grow or die. And so I decided, kill it. Now, at the same time, my wife and I had made a bet about this one building that was going up. And she says, I bet that that's going to be a Hollywood Video. And I was like, no, it's not going to be a Hollywood Video. It's going to be something else. And so I lost this bet because it ended up being a Hollywood Video. And the bet was I had to apply to work at Hollywood Video, which is funny because I actually applied. I remember leaving work when I was a machinist and going into a Hollywood Video and basically, asking what the wage was, which at the time I was making almost twice as much as what minimum wage was, almost twice as much. And because I made a great wage as a machinist, but it was, what was it? But I wouldn't have been able to afford doing that. So anyway, so I applied to Vista Spring, or not Vista Spring, but Hollywood. And of course they were hiring. So I got hired. And some of still lifelong friends. And it's funny because I don't really I never really hung out with anybody from the machine shop. Not that I didn't get along with them. I like some of the people. I would love to run into some of the people that I met, like Ma. What a wonderful woman. She is probably long gone by now, but hopefully not. And then Susan, she was great. She was a machinist on Graveyard. In fact, if she's still around, she technically lives just a couple miles away from me. So, but anyway, grow or die. I actually worked for Hollywood Video for a couple of years and then got fired because my supervisor and I cheated on the gift card contest. And so they fired us. And I actually got to assistant manager. So, so they fired us. Or maybe no. I did end up getting fired in the end, but I left in between. There was some, I can't remember. Oh, I went back to being a machinist. And then I left. I went back to being a machinist. And then I got laid off from being a machinist again. And then while I was doing my web design work, I helped a friend of mine start stampconnection.com. I talked about him the other day, John Clark. So I actually worked for him for a little bit, kind of worked under the table. So I got under the table plus a little bit of what do you call it? Unemployment. And then I went back to Hollywood Video, became an assistant manager, and then I got fired. I know this is totally a trip down amnesia lane here. And then when I got fired, a buddy of mine, a martial arts buddy of mine, was like, "Hey, why don't you? I run a security company up in Washington. Why don't you come and work for me? And all those skills that you've learned, you can potentially put those to work." And almost 20 years later, I finally got out of the industry. But I did, so I worked contract. I worked for two companies, contract, and then I went to the hospital. So, and all on the side, I was always teaching martial arts, where I was learning martial arts or teaching martial arts. So, and it had always, it's funny because it had always been my dream to open a school and do that. But I never really, having kids and a mortgage and needing health insurance, especially when it became mandatory and you were going to be tagged on it at the end of the year if you didn't have it. Yeah, it was. Okay, so Bill is reminding me. Yes. So don't forget Matador Academy. So, and of course, the Pacific River basement. So in between leaving my last contract job, my last contracts company, I was running the security company, but Bill, who really kind of pushed me into bouncing, like I had done it a little bit, but like he was just like, let's do this. I had always, so I'm a huge fan of the Matador novels by Steve Perry, who is a local writer, lives out in Beaverton. Anyway, so huge fan of the Matador novels. It's basically it's a science fiction story about sci-fi, what's it called? Sci-fi bodyguards. But in the first book, a lot of the bodyguards initially, a lot of the matadors were bouncers for the Man Who Never Missed. And so I always thought it would be really cool to start a training company to train bouncers or to train security, not just in, the tools of the trade, but also something that'll actually help them too. And so I called it Matador Academy. And so Bill was my cohort in that. And we ran, so this was a side gig. This is not, and it would have been nice to have actually built it up into like a full-time gig, but things happen. But so between, I say between, but also during the Pacific River era and the end of my Pacific River era and the beginning of my Providence era, we ran Matador Academy. And so that's where we had, I think I've talked about this before. We ran security teams for several different clubs. We actually kind of specialized in hip hop, in the hip hop clubs. So looking at it from a racial standpoint, it was a bunch of white guys telling black people to calm the fuck down and not fight. Doesn't go that well sometimes. but Bill and I made a great team. We built great teams. Um, it was fun, and I miss it. I really do miss it. I kind of think, do I want to like pick it up again? I don't know. The training, on the other hand, yes, that is something I want to try and build myself back into, and not be like the training center, but like, I don't know, offer those services. And I would use, Thomas is like, I got to work a shift. I used to use people all the time. And like, there were people, like, there were on calls at Providence that I'd be like, I trust this guy. I like this guy. I'd be like, hey, I need an extra person for tonight. Do you want to work? Absolutely. I'm working swing shift. I'll just, I'll show up right after swing shift because I work swing shift. So for a lot of the stuff, I would leave Providence and then go to the bar on the weekends. And so, yeah, I had a whole group of people that I'd be like, I trust that person, send him over there, or I trust that person, send him over there. So yeah, it was pretty funny. And then also, Thomas says this Pacific River basement. I actually ran classes, martial arts classes, out of the basement when we had the office over on off of 99. So that was fun. But now I'm 50 and I'm off on a whole new journey. I'm actually like living my dream. I'm a martial arts school owner. I'm learning what I am great at, and I learn what I really suck at. And so, and even though I'm not making the money that I want to make, but it's still, here's an analogy. And not that people with the cost of living, at least before gas prices went up, but it's almost like you get those people who, I want to make $15 minimum wage. And it's not that people don't deserve that, because there are some people, they make minimum wage. I was brought up that's where you start. You start at the bottom, start at your minimum wage job, and then you work up. You either work up in the company and get promoted so you get more money, or you go to school and you get educated, so you either get a degree or a training certificate, and that gets you more money. Experience on the job gets you more money, but you don't just become rich right off the bat. So that's not that people don't deserve at least a living wage. I don't think a kid out of fucking high school should be making enough money to like pay a house, pay on a mortgage. My son right now, my middle son, he works minimum wage. He works at Dutch. They pay everybody minimum wage, unless of course you're a lead or an assistant or whatever. He is making, because minimum wage, he is making, and this is funny how things have changed over the last 15 years. He is making more money serving coffee than I did starting at Providence and Security 15 years ago. Now, when I left, I actually topped out. Yay me. $29.57, I think, was my last the last paycheck. $29.50. That's what I ended up making per hour. And I was topped out on the top level security officer 2. But it took me a while to get there. So even with going back to the school, yeah, I'd like to be making $1 million. I'd like to have 100 students. I need to work towards that. So it just, it just is. All right. Let's see. Who is... okay, Bill. You should read Blackguard Sons and Fathers. I'm a character base for Big Papa. Oh, cool. That's awesome. You got me a job in a lounge in Portland and got me free booze and $100 tip on top of what I made for the gig. Well, that's awesome. I don't remember that. I remember you working, but I don't remember that. You suck at dodging cell phones and high heels. Oh, okay. That's some funny shit. So that actually is, I broke my jaw bouncing out at Lucky's in Gresham, and big bar fight. I was being too nice, even though I didn't think I was being nice. In retrospect, I was being too nice. Should have just nailed this guy fucking into the pavement. Anyway, he turns around, perfect angle and direction, breaks my jaw. So I go right back onto the job. I'm wired shut. That's talking on the radio. Of course, if you're talking like this, and then you got the the saliva, and you have it in there cleared, you sound like the Tin Man. So I was one of the guys that we work with, Cowboy. He was like, "Hey, could somebody give Tin Man some oil?" And therefore that was one of my nicknames, was Tin Man. So, but big fight breaks out. I think my jaw had healed. I don't think I was still tied up. I think I was actually healed. And there's this big fight, and this gal she just picks up a shoe and just starts hacking at me. And I don't know. We found out that it was actually one of the bartender's shoes. She had gotten off, like she had ended her shift early and taken off her shoes and just put them down. So somebody didn't take off their shoe to beat me with it. They just picked up shoes. Anyway, so I'm in this, oh shit, I'm somebody's beating me, but I'm thinking, oh my God, my jaw. Okay. And I've got this covered, and I'm trying to do whatever. Well, it was a high heel. And so I don't know where I have this scar on my head where I had like a bunch of stitches, because it like clipped me right down there. Fast forward, we had another club, the Dragonfly, 13th and Powell. Great, nice little joint. Not going to say sketchy owners. We have dealt with sketchier owners, but these guys, as honest, they wanted to own a bar and they're just misguided, but good people still. Anyway, so we we get this woman outside. This woman's fighting. We get her outside, and she throws this punch, and I come up, boom, totally cover my head, and I'm really proud of myself. Well, she punches, And because her punch doesn't land on me, she takes her cell phone and hucks it at me. And the cell phone goes, and like gives me this big scrape up my cheek. And so everyone's like, "Oh, you didn't dodge that?" I was like, "No, I fucking dodged your punch. Like, I totally got out of the way." But it was the other hand that came in that got me. So those are some great memories. Thank you, Bill. Oh my God. Those are some awesome memories. Yeah. Yes, the jaw guy paid for that. Let's see. Yeah, God, that was so fun. Oh my gosh. I miss those days. And I don't know if I could yeah, I don't know. But getting back to the whole failing and getting back up, I it's funny because I go through these waves of I'm stressed because not enough money's coming in, but then I'm like, it's okay. And so I'm stressed, but I'm not. Like it's kind of like a good kind of stress because I'm not letting it get me down. I'm having it motivate me. So I'm always trying to think of new things and do new things to promote the school, to get people in. One of the frustrating things is that a bunch of the stuff that I'm trying has not been working very well. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's life. But here's the thing. I see it as a motivator. And yeah, I just keep moving forward. Like I filmed my push-ups this morning. I've been right before I came on, I was editing them and because I wanted to put in the numbers, and there was a long pause. I'm going to put it up on I'll put it up on the TikTok, but it was and then of course it'll probably share the other things. But I paused, so I got to edit out the pause. But pretty much the message there is like I was only able to do 27 when I started, and I have gained weight. I'm like I said, I probably shouldn't have had McDonald's yesterday. It's not very good for me. It was a weak moment. But but my so I have gained weight. Now I'm just trying to lose it again, and that can be frustrating. But even though I was able to do 27, I was lighter. Now I can do 53 and I'm heavier. And I'm not going to say it's the muscle. It is not muscle. There is some fat in there. Hence the McDonald's. Plus, I really like pizza, and I like beer, and I like potato chips, and I like bread. And yeah, so there's some carbs involved there. But so it's just basically kind of getting back into whatever I'm going to end up doing. But what was I saying? But it's continuing to push forward, being able to not get like I plateaued. Like, and I think I talked about this. Like, I still haven't been able to get past week 5, day 3. And it's a 6-week program. So it just whatever, like I'll get like a couple, like I'll be able to get through like the first section, and then that last one, and it varies. So So I don't know. It is what it is, but I'm not going to let that get me down because I'm still going to work at it. I don't know if I'm going to start the program over and just start with me being able to do 53 and have that as my baseline and start from there and then do 6 weeks, because of course, this 6 week program to get to 100 push-ups, they don't say guaranteed. But like week 5 and week 6, there's a huge jump because technically by the end of week 6, I'd be doing a total in the sets of 199 push-ups. So if I can do 199, I should be able to do 100 straight up. Okay. I don't know. But and I've heard some other things of how to get to 100 push-ups. So that's still my goal. And when I get to my goal, I'm gonna let everybody fucking know, because I'll be like, I could weigh 10 pounds more, but look what I can do. Okay. So it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. You just got to keep on going. I need a good. I say good number. Good number seems like a big number. I don't need a lot of people to make, to break even, but I just going to keep moving forward. Got to brainstorm. All right. So Bill has a lot of things. So what is he saying? Just to say, I've worked with a lot of bouncers in my 20 years working in bars. Miss you are the top 5 people I want to hear responding over the radio, and in the top 3 people I want watching my back. Well, Bill, I appreciate that. Bill, for those of you who don't know Bill, I met Bill through Pacific River. And when I met him, I want to say I wasn't surprised, but it's one of those where it was, I was like, well, he's an interesting fellow. And then he basically became one of my best friends. And it was weird because Bill's missing a front tooth. And for me, I'm all about teeth. I don't know what it is, but for me, you have to have, if a woman could look absolutely gorgeous, have a beautiful figure, a wonderful personality, but if her teeth are jacked, fuck, I don't know. It's just me. So Bill, this big guy, jolly, like when they say fat people are jolly, fucking Bill's jolly. And I love Bill. But just, I don't know. Yeah. He comments work wife. Absolutely. But it was more, I mean, we became really good friends, and I mean, he's living in Ohio now, so I can't really see him all the time. But even when he's lived here, we just didn't make enough time to see each other. So even when Bill was here, I missed him. So starting to get a bit emotional here. Bill, I love you. You're an awesome guy. One of my best friends. Thomas, to change this topic just a little bit, 75 is the minimum to in the Army to pass the PT test. Well, I'm not going to be passing that test anytime soon. Yeah. So, when I get to the 75, we'll get there. Anyway, my tea is almost finished. I need to watch some Star Trek. Yeah, I love you too, brother. there is, let's see. I don't know. How do I default to something else? Let's see. Oh, in 2 minutes? Well, okay, hold on a second. 75 in 2 minutes. Now I don't have perfect form, but I did do 53 in a short period of time. So I think I could probably do 75 in 2 minutes. All right. So anyway, we have all this stuff coming up for all of you who don't watch, but yeah. So there you go. Doesn't everyone carry pizza around in the truck? I know that that's a reference to something. I cannot remember it. But that hasn't. Okay, that's sparking a memory, but it's not like coming back like it normally does. Anyway, so all of this really awesome stuff coming on. Now I did add the training lab coming up at noon. I still need to create some Facebook stuff for that. Brand Frank's birthday bash coming up. You can and here we go. We got I bought crimped.com last night. It was not it was not available for the longest time. So that was one of the Bram's domains. I bought it. What was it? I didn't want to go into a bidding war because it expired and he didn't have access to it. And then, so anyway, so I found it $8 for a year. So I own it. That'll be coming up. Okay. When we were moving offices and you were hungry and I had a pizza in the back seat. Okay. I do seem to remember that. Yeah. Cause I remember talking about, God, I'm hungry. We should take a break and go somewhere. And you're like, well, I got a pizza in the back seat. And I'm like, you have pizza? And he goes, doesn't everybody have pizza in the back in the back seat? So yes, that's also a good memory. All right. So, don't know what my family has planned for me tonight. Probably not. But I am getting ceiling tiles. Going to hear back from the landlord on when I need to be at the school. Going to teach. Going to. I should probably mow the lawn because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Maybe I'll mow the lawn today. I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, there you go. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this after hours, well, thank you for staying on this long after hours. Thank you, Bill. And don't forget to pick my ass up. Okay, so you need to text me. I know you're coming in at like 10:30. You need to tell me I need flight information so I can track it. And then, yeah. So happy birthday, Wayne Brady and everyone else, June 2nd. Love to you all. And I will see you tomorrow morning. In fact, Rob and I will see you tomorrow morning. So